name is Antonia Romaker. Welcome to Russian with Passion. However, do not forget that on this channel you can also study English. Anyway, today we study Russian, and namely we are going to focus on the genitive case. We already talked about all cases in general together, and also the nominative case. It's high time we move on to the genitive case. So let's get to it. The general information first. So genitive case is primarily used to describe possession. So to show that somebody possesses something. Well, in this case, the equivalent in the English language will be the use of apostrophe s or the preposition of. So these are two constructions which are primarily translated into Russian by using the genitive case of a noun or a pronoun or adjective and so on. So let's continue. What's important here is the word order, because in Russian the possessor follows the object. So the possessor follows the object it possesses. So it's different. For example, in English, if you say my mom's coat, you use the object after the possessor. But in Russian, we will say плащ моей мамы. So my mom will be at the end of this phrase. So be careful about the word order. In this case, it is quite close to the usage of the preposition of, the cloak of my mother. So it's very close in Russian. So the word order should be like that. First, there goes the object and then the possessor of this object. So be careful. Let's continue. What else? For example, another example, we can say Ivan's dog or the dog of Ivan. In Russian, it will be собака Ивана. So the possessor, Ivan, Ivana in genitive case, follows the object it possesses. He possesses in this case, it's a person. Okay, let's continue. As I have already pointed out, almost in all cases when we use the preposition of, we are supposed to use genitive case. So this one is important. For example, a cup of tea. Кружка чая. So it's genitive, чая. So after of, we focus here on the word which follows this preposition. Кружка чая, a cup of tea. Чая is in the genitive case. Let's move on. What else? Also, when we deal with the word some in English, quite often we use genitive case. However, when we say some of, once again we have of here. So we say some of my friends, некоторые из моих друзей. So we say некоторые из of. Once again, we have of, and it dictates, using the genitive case. Also, quite often we use the genitive case in a noun, of a noun, when there is negation. For example, when we say there's no light in this house. В этом доме нет света. Кого, чего? These are the questions which, are asked when you deal with the genitive case. Кого, чего, света. And this word is in the genitive case. In addition, we also use the genitive case after the following prepositions. There are some exceptions, so some of these prepositions can be used with other cases, but still, mostly, we use the genitive case after, and here's the list. Без, для, до, из, из-за, из-под, кроме, на, от, с, со, у, около, вокруг, недалеко от, позади, напротив, посреди, мимо, вдоль. And now let's study a list of verbs after which we are also supposed to use the genitive case. These verbs are very common, they are popular, that's why it would be a good idea to memorize them with the genitive case. Remember, so the verbs are просить, хотеть, требовать, искать, ждать, достигать, желать, бояться. And mostly when after them we use an abstract noun or an indefinite object. So a noun which designates an abstract, which designates abstract or indefinite objects. For example, требовать справедливости, to demand justice. In this sentence, in this phrase, the word справедливость, justice, is in the genitive case because it's used after the verb требовать and it's an abstract notion. Okay, let's continue. Now let's get to the way the genitive case is formed. So here we should remember some changes. Let's memorize them. First, let's start with masculine nouns. So in this case, with masculine nouns, if this noun ends in a consonant in its initial form or in its dictionary form, then we should put the ending a. If it ends in y, then we put ya. If it ends in the soft sign, we put ya. Now let's move on to feminine nouns. So if it ends in a, the noun ends in a, then we use y. Ya, we use e. The soft sign, we use e. By the way, some nouns, some masculine nouns, as you know, can also end in a or ya. For example, papa, father, дядя, uncle. In this case, they also change their forms in the same way as feminine nouns. So if the noun, like papa, ends in a, we put y, папы. If it ends in ya, like дядя, we put и, дяди. And neuter nouns. So if a neuter noun ends in o, we put a. And if it ends in ye, we put ya. So these are the general rules. And there are a couple of exceptions, and I will tell you about them in a second. Now I will show you a table of how nouns change their forms in genitive case, in the genitive case, how you can take a nominative case and turn it into the genitive case. So take a look at the table, analyze it, and I will tell you about the exceptions. Now, at the end of our class, I will give you a set of sentences, English sentences, and your job is to translate them. Be careful about the genitive case. So, well, you are going to have a little practice, and that would be quite useful. And now let's check. Number 1. Я выучил стихотворение Пушкина наизусть. Here we can say я выучила if you are a girl or a woman, a female. Number 2. В доме напротив нет света. Number 3. Некоторые из моих подруг учителя. Number 4. Он вышел из комнаты и не попрощался. 5. Блины подгорают без масла. 6. У меня есть блендер. 7. Я хочу свободы. 8. У нее нет сегодня уроков. 9. Это машина моего отца. Here notice that some of the sentences contain genitive forms not only of nouns but of pronouns or adjectives, like number 3, некоторые из моих подруг, учителя. Моих is also in genitive case. So the words connected with the noun in a particular case also should be in this case. But we will talk about that later. Now, let's focus on number 8. У нее нет сегодня уроков. Here we use genitive case in two situations. In the first one with the pronoun нее, у нее, because the phrase I have in Russian is translated with the help of the genitive case. We'll focus on this particular construction in another class. And there is the second interesting thing here. Нет сегодня уроков. So it's a negation, нет, and after it we also use a noun in the genitive case уроков. But in between we have an adverbial modifier сегодня. As you know, the word order in Russian is not as strict as in English, and that's why we can say у нее нет уроков сегодня. So both variants are possible. Okay, so that's it. That's all for today. We studied the genitive case, well, closely. Now your job is to watch this video for a couple of times. I understand that it sounds very complicated, but I want to assure you that it is worth it, and if you keep going, if you do not stop, if you keep fighting, you will succeed for sure. You can watch this video and forget half of it. It's not a big deal. It's not bad. Just try to remember the general things here. And maybe watch the video a couple of times, and then you'll remember more. Anyway, that's it. I hope that you find this class useful and you like it. So please push the button, press the button, like. Also share it and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't subscribed to it yet. And I hope to see you soon. Happy Russian and English practice. Bye.